students are not allowed to speak when they are in the examination hall. Control systems in manufacturing require a high level of accuracy.
Car park permits can be obtained at the Student Service Center. Your abstract should contain the empirical evidence of your research. The buildings looked extraordinarily beautiful in the brilliant sunshine of the day. You can obtain the application form from the administrative office. Cities are ranked based on the important measure of quality of life. Physics explores the properties and interactions of matter and energy. The agricultural industry of that country receives significant financial support from the government.
Today, I'm thrilled to share insights into the mysterious and largely unexplored deep ocean. This vast and enigmatic part of our planet holds secrets that scientists are only beginning to understand. The deep ocean is home to some of the most unusual and fascinating creatures. These species have adapted to extreme conditions of darkness, cold, and high pressure. For instance, the anglerfish, with its bioluminescent lure, is a testament to the unique adaptations required for survival in such an environment. Furthermore, the deep sea plays a crucial role in our planet's health. It's a major carbon sink, helping to regulate the Earth's climate. The deep sea ecosystems also contribute to the cycling of nutrients, essential for supporting life both in the ocean and on land. In conclusion, the deep ocean is not just a place of darkness and mystery. It's a vital part of our world, with profound implications for environmental science and biology. As we continue to explore these depths, we unlock more of Earth's hidden wonders. I am excited to talk about the fascinating evolution of astronomy and how it has expanded our understanding of the cosmos. This field, blending ancient observations with modern technology, continues to intrigue and inspire. Astronomy's journey from early stargazing to the use of advanced telescopes illustrates the human quest for knowledge. Ancient civilizations used the stars for navigation and timekeeping, laying the groundwork for today's astronomical achievements. The Hubble Space Telescope, for instance, has allowed us to peer into distant galaxies, reshaping our understanding of the universe. Moreover, the study of astronomy has profound implications for our place in the universe. It challenges us to think beyond our planet, fostering a sense of wonder and curiosity. Discoveries about black holes, distant planets, and the possibility of life beyond Earth continue to captivate and motivate future generations of astronomers. The evolution of astronomy is not just a scientific journey. It is a testament to human curiosity and our relentless pursuit to understand the universe we inhabit. It reminds us that the sky is not the limit, but just the beginning. What is the term for an outdoor area for dining or relaxing that is adjacent to a building? What do you call the triangular upper part of a building in classical architecture? typically surmounting a portico of columns. What do we call the medical tool used to compress a limb to control bleeding? What do we call the injection given to prevent certain diseases? Today, we turn our attention to one of the ocean's most magnificent and vital ecosystems, coral reefs. These underwater rainforests are not just spectacular in their beauty, but they are crucial for the health of our planet. Coral reefs, though covering less than 1% of the ocean floor, support an estimated 25% of all marine species. They provide critical habitats for a diverse range of sea life, from fish to invertebrates. For instance, the Great Barrier Reef, a World Heritage Site, is home to thousands of species, some of which are found nowhere else on Earth. However, these ecosystems are under threat. Climate change, pollution, and overfishing have led to widespread coral bleaching and reef degradation. This loss has profound implications, not just for marine life but also for human communities that rely on reefs for food, tourism, and coastal protection. Preserving coral reefs is more than an environmental concern. It's a crucial step in maintaining the ocean's biodiversity and our own livelihoods. It requires global efforts, from reducing carbon emissions to implementing sustainable fishing practices. By protecting these vibrant ecosystems, we're not only safeguarding marine life but also ensuring a sustainable future for generations to come. Thanks for joining me today. I would like to focus on the profound impact of empathy on strengthening communities and fostering a more compassionate society. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, is a fundamental human trait. It forms the basis of our social bonds and enables us to connect with others on a deeper level, transcending differences in background, culture, or beliefs. Moreover, empathy is a catalyst for positive social change. It motivates individuals and communities to address social injustices, offer support to those in need, and work towards creating a fairer and more inclusive society. Furthermore, empathy enhances conflict resolution and cooperation within communities. When people genuinely empathize with each other's perspectives, they are more likely to find common ground and collaborate effectively, leading to stronger, more resilient communities. In conclusion, empathy is a powerful force for building stronger, more compassionate communities and promoting social cohesion. It is a skill that we should cultivate and encourage in ourselves and our communities, as it holds the key to a more harmonious and connected society.
Even when we may not be aware of it, hearing music can affect our bodies as well as our minds. But are the physiological effects of music unique to one culture, or are they more general? To find out, researchers enlisted 40 Canadians from downtown Montreal and 40 Pygmies from the Congo rainforest. All the volunteers listened to musical clips from the movies Psycho, Star Wars, and Schindler's List, and to music from Pygmy culture. As the participants listened, the researchers observed their emotional reactions, as well as psychophysiological responses like changes in heart rate, breathing rate, and palm sweat production. The two groups disagreed about whether a particular musical selection was happy or sad, but they all had similar levels of arousal as measured by their psychophysiological responses. These findings suggest that some aspects of how we react to music are universal rather than strictly cultural. The study is in the journal Frontiers in Psychology.
We constantly negotiate at work. We negotiate for higher pay, promotions, vacations, and even greater autonomy. In fact, every day we negotiate just to get our job done and to secure resources for ourselves and our teams. And yet, when we go in with the wrong mindset, with our fists up, ready to fight, we aren't as successful. You know why? Because negotiation is not about dominating. It's about crafting a relationship, and relationships thrive when we find ways to give and to take and move together in unison. And to do that, you have to be well prepared. First, do your research. Figure out whether what you're asking for is realistic. What is your aspiration? What do you want? And what will make you walk away from the table? This might seem obvious, but too many people don't think it through.
Some years ago, Bjorn Lomborg, a young Danish statistician, published a book called The Skeptical Environmentalist. It became a bestseller and generated a lot of heat. Lomborg was attacked, abused, and accused of all manner of things, not because he denied the fact of global warming, in fact he affirmed it, but because, on his analysis, the devil and, he says, a lot of deviousness was contained in the details presented concerning the size of the problem and what were the most responsible steps to take in response to global warming.
Ties waited Monday for the results of an election called a return to democratic rule, but which has been widely criticized as an exercise designed by Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha to entrench his military stranglehold on power. Preliminary official results released late Sunday showed that with 93% of the ballots counted, the military-backed Phalang Parachut Party was in the lead with about 7.6 million votes. That's short of what would be needed for a majority in parliament. In second place was the Pheu Thai Party of former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra with 7.1 million votes. The campaign was marred by allegations of vote buying. However, complaints were few on polling day, with election observers from Australia, Canada, the United States, and the 10 members of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations on hand.
It's been reported recently that some business schools have decided to make changes to students' grades by increasing them by 10%. This means that a C grade automatically becomes a B, and a B grade automatically becomes an A under the new grading system. And the change is retrospective, which means that it applies to all grades that have been achieved since the school's current grading system, which was introduced in 2007, has been in place. Now, there are at least 8 business schools who've changed their grading levels, and they decided to award their graduates higher grades so they would be more attractive in the highly competitive job market. However, changing grades like this has been criticized by the academic and business communities because many people think the grades have been falsely exaggerated and don't reflect the true ability of the student. In fact, many employers realize when a school has made adjustments to students' grades, and so there is no real benefit in doing this. Lifting the grades may even be damaging to the students because employers may believe that the graduates were given the high grades when they didn't deserve them.
How did I get into anthropology? Well, I'm not an anthropologist. Not trained in it anyway. In fact, I'm a marine biologist. And it's more that I'm interested in the strand lopers, the beach walkers, if you like, than in anthropology generally. In fact, it was through my early interest in all things to do with the sea that I first heard of them. As a kid, my favourite pastime was getting down to the beach and mucking about in rock pools and collecting anything the sea tossed up. And, the strand lopers lived off the sea and seashore, gathering food such as mussels, oysters, crabs and so on, just as I did. So when I heard of them, I thought, right, this is my kind of thing. And I felt a kind of, affinity for them. At first, people thought they were a myth, I suppose because there didn't seem to be much evidence for their existence. But now we do have archaeological evidence such as pottery, discarded shells, the bones of seals and large fish and so on. And those shells, we believe, became their first tools, and in some cases were also used as money and jewellery. Of course, before they had the implements, the tools to hunt and fish, everything had to be caught by hand, so they kept mostly to shallow water. Then they might have used a primitive form of fishing line, perhaps the tendril of a climbing plant or a strip of animal skin with a bone or small piece of wood that would stick in the fish's throat. Anyway, the more we search, the more we discover. Most recently, caves on the coast have been discovered with ancient drawings. I find it endlessly fascinating.
In small doses, stress can have quite a positive effect. It can make you feel more alive, even exhilarated. I suppose everyone has a set level at which stress becomes unbearable, at which point they cease to function properly. I suppose, too, that it's possible for someone to train themselves to be able to take higher levels of stress by repeatedly putting themselves in a stressful situation to build up a tolerance for stress. Indeed, some jobs absolutely require this. But stress is a fact of life for all of us, and, as the figures show, its effect is largely negative. Each year, about 6 million people in Britain consult their doctors because they feel stress or anxiety, and it is estimated that at least another 6 million suffer from stress-related illness but do not seek medical advice. Long working hours, fear of losing their jobs, the difficult journey to and from work in crowded trains and buses all contribute to increased levels of stress. Then there are domestic problems, such as a large mortgage on the house, children who want to drop out of school and join rock bands, not enough time to spare to be with the family.
Map making has a long and fascinating history. Both before Ptolemy produced the first great map of the world and after, up to the beautiful simplicity of the London Underground map and the precisely detailed Ordnance Survey maps, which cover almost every inch of the United Kingdom. Ancient mapmakers used to draw in hills, valleys and rivers to give an idea of the topography, the shape of the land. It wasn't until the late 16th century that contour lines were used, that is, lines that linked points of the land at the same height. But this was to show the relative depths and shallows of a river. The first time land contours were used was on a map of France, which took about 40 years to complete and was finished in 1783. The Ordnance Survey was set up in 1791, and their maps, as the name suggests, were originally made for military purposes, and the first one to be produced was of the county of Kent, at a ratio of 1 inch to 1 mile.
There have been several influential studies in pain management. Some of the most interesting of these study endorphins, the body's own natural painkillers. For example, we now know that exercise stimulates the production of endorphins. Lack of exercise, on the other hand, not only shuts down endorphin production, but can also lead to muscle deterioration. This is why you see a lot of pain specialists prescribing exercise for patients with chronic pain. Another interesting area involves the power of the placebo effect. We've known for some time that a sugar pill, or other inactive placebo, can sometimes make a sick person feel better. Somehow, the power of suggestion, or faith in the doctor, or the drug, will start a process of healing. We now think a neurochemical component. What may actually happen is the placebo effect allows some people to sort of tap into the supply of endorphins.
As we look back at 2007, it's time to judge the best books, the best movies, and the best scientific discoveries. The prestigious journal Science came out with its breakthrough of the year in the December 20th edition. The runner-up was the discovery that skin cells could be manipulated to behave like embryonic stem cells. The number one pick, human genetic variation. Scientists have been learning increasing amounts about how genes influence traits and diseases. At the same time, we hear about how little difference there is between us and our not-so-distant cousins, chimps and gorillas. But this year, researchers sequenced the genomes of thousands of individual people. They looked at variations in short stretches of DNA called single nucleotide polymorphisms, or SNPs. We each have millions of SNPs in our DNA. Scientists discovered how much we vary from one another on this basic level. Crucial info for understanding everything from who gets diabetes to who's at risk for breast cancer to maybe even why I can't stand cilantro. For more information on the breakthroughs of the year, go to sciencemag.org. When is an ant like a piece of fruit? When it's infected by a parasite. Researchers affiliated with the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute discovered this bizarre occurrence in Central America as they were studying the gliding ability of a certain species of ant. They found some colony members with bright red swollen abdomens. The scientists took specimens back to the lab and discovered they were full of hundreds of nematode eggs. The bright red bellies look suspiciously like the brilliant red and pink berries that proliferate in the rainforest. Researchers think that the nematode makes the ant look like fruit to get birds to eat the ants. Birds usually keep the ants off their menu because of armor and a bad chemical taste. The birds then spread parasite eggs in their droppings. Ants forage through bird droppings for seeds. They feed the infected droppings to ant larvae, beginning the infection process all over again. The red-bellied ant is the first known case of a parasite causing fruit mimicry. One of the researchers was surprised that something dumb as a nematode can manipulate its host in such a sophisticated way. But evolution works no matter how dumb organisms are.
I thought a good architectural structure should be useful, durable, and beautiful. Doctoral writings have a structure in place, as well as scientific papers. The evaluation form will be reviewed by university personnel.
A good academic paper should be clear,